Guys, the wisdom, the knowledge, the outlooks dropped in this episode, literally wow. I guarantee you by the end of this episode, you're going to have a completely different perspective on everything in your life, positively. I don't want to waste any more time, let's get started. Hi Priya, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. So I discovered you on TikTok a few months ago. I've been following you for a while, and the whole vibe that I got from you is that you're just so into, improving yourself, and you seem so intelligent. I was literally like, oh my God, brains and beauty. Like, she's got both. So today I just wanted to sort of talk to you about your entire, self-development journey. Some people might say you've got some controversial views on some stuff. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that. The stuff that you share on your TikTok is really like vast. You've got quite a lot of different things that you talk about. So I thought I'd like sum them up into a few things. So the first thing is like obviously how you got into your self-development journey, that kind of thing. I know you do a little bit of life coaching. So a little bit of that as well. Confidence. So whether that's internally, externally, health. So, digestion, gut health, even things like breathing properly. Like a lot of us don't breathe properly. Relationships and being single. So, how to be happy and whole in both. And then at the end, I want to talk a little bit about feminism. Because I think, so just to like start off, how did you get into your self-development journey? What kind of triggered that, or when was that?
I would say that was probably about 3 or 4 years ago now.
Okay.
So I was at like a really low point in my life. I had depression, anxiety, everything just felt like it was crumbling. And then I kind of started learning more about spirituality. Well, the first thing that happened was that I kind of saw this video. It was this link to this video about inner earth. And I remember watching it with my sister. I remember thinking, wow, like, you know what, this could actually be true. And then I realized that anything is actually possible in life. Like, life is so much more magical than we believe it to be. Yeah, and then I kind of just started watching this. It's a platform called Gaia. It's basically like Netflix, but it has lots of spirituality, mind, expanded consciousness, healing, etc. So I started watching that. Just started learning a vast amount of things from there. And then from there, really, I just realized I wanted a better life. And then to have a better life, you have to improve your relationship with yourself.
Of course.
And then I just became addicted, really.
Oh my God, amazing. So 3 or 4 years ago, obviously you went on that website. Is there anything else that you've been sort of doing to, like you said, improve that relationship with yourself?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I have Mind Valley now as well. I don't know if you've heard of Mind Valley.
No,
Mind Valley is amazing. I always find the next thing to help me on my journey. Like, life just supports me that way.
What is Mind Valley?
So Mind Valley is a platform where you can access loads of different courses. So breathing, that's where I learned from there, about sleep, fasting, health, money, the money EQ course I did from there by Ken Honda.
Oh, amazing.
Just loads of different ones. And I signed up to all of them because I was like, I want to learn as much as possible. I just have this thing where I just want to be amazing in every area of my life.
I love that.
Yeah, I'd recommend that, definitely.
Oh, amazing. And you do a little bit of life coaching. I saw one of your TikToks that you do that a little bit on the side. What's that like?
When I started my journey on getting better, I realized that I actually want to help people. Like, I want people to feel as good as I do, and I want them to improve their lives. And I just love seeing people happy. And I love, because when people are happy, they're better people. Like, we're better as a community, like,
of course.
Bring suffering and happiness spreads happiness. So, yeah, and I love like talking. I love sharing my views on things and just helping people. So I set up on Fiverr, put it up there, didn't have a response for a while. Then I got my first client and it's actually just been amazing. Like,
yeah, 5-star reviews. I've had a look. Like, look at you. That must feel so like fulfilling.
As soon as I had my first session, I remember being really nervous because I haven't had any training. Like, I haven't had any life coaching training or anything. What I did was just gather it from my experience, and I just kind of made my own sort of attempt at it. I did look at some things, but I kind of made my own attempt at it. But yeah, as soon as I finished my life coaching session, I was literally like, I felt so good. I felt sick. I was so ecstatic and happy. It was amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful. Honestly, like, I've also been on a sort of self-development journey. Like, that's why I really wanted to connect with you. I was like, we're just on the same like wavelength. I absolutely love your energy as well. I think with self-development, usually something will trigger it. Like you said that you had like depression and anxiety. I think I was in a similar place as well. We were talking about this over text and stuff, but I think both of us have really suffered with being like people pleasers.
Oh God, yes.
Oh my God. Like I think you said something really powerful in the text. You said something like, it feels as though we much rather care about, what was it, along the lines of,
Yeah, we'd rather hurt ourselves than hurt them,
yeah,
basically.
it's not nice. It's
God,
sad.
how did you start with like? How did that happen? How did that come into play with your life?
I think with me, I did a lot of self-reflection after uni. So I graduated just like in September, and I have attracted a lot of drama in my life. And I was thinking about it. I was like, I always am kind. I always want the best for people. I'm a loyal friend, all of that stuff. So I was like, what is it? Like, it can't be such a coincidence that with me, I'm attracting all this drama all the time. So I did a lot of reflection and inner work. And I was like, I think it's genuinely because I'm too nice and have no boundaries. And when you don't have boundaries, what happens is you'll either build up a resentment towards someone else because you eventually get fed up in a way, or the other person will feel resentment towards you because you're just so stupidly naive, or like, how can you be that nice? Like, you'll literally do anything for anybody and they won't even care. So I think it was that, as well as the fact that with any sort of relationship, it was a lot of victimizing myself, or it was a lot of just putting up with a lot of crap, basically. Yes, I'd stand up for myself here and there, but it wasn't strong enough. So I think ever since leaving uni and stuff like that, I've genuinely spent, and I'm quite an extrovert as well, so I've spent so much time alone from September until now. And from that, I've just been listening to so many podcasts, like watching TikTokers like yourself with all this self-development journey, and YouTubers. And I've started reading. It's helped so much because I think when you work on yourself, you also get that confidence. Because I used to think self-love and confidence came from like just accepting how you look from the outside. It's so much deeper than that. And I used to say, yeah, I love myself. Like, I love who I am as a person, but I didn't love myself enough to protect myself. So I think that's probably where my self-development journey came from. So now I look back at myself, I think I'm working on the forgiving my old self part. Now I just look back and I get so angry. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why did you put up with that? Like, you're so stupid, that kind of thing. But I've been talking to some friends and they're like, you need to forgive your younger self because she didn't know any better, or you can't look back at yourself negatively. You have to like support her and be like, do you know what? I've grown from there. Now you've learned, like, it's okay. So yeah, I think mine is also, I was feeling really low and just in that kind of stuff as well.
See what you have there. I feel like I share your same sentiment. Like, I
Mm.
sometimes do look back at myself and think, oh my God, like, what an idiot. Why would I do that? And then I'm also learning to forgive myself.
Yeah.
One thing I learned was that you wouldn't be who you are today. And if you're really happy with who you are today, you wouldn't have been you if you hadn't gone through what you went through, if you didn't make
True.
those decisions. Also,
Mm.
movies, like the hero's journey, like he goes through some trouble, he makes some mistakes, and then he gets through it, and then
Mm.
he's a hero, he comes out on the other end shining.
Yeah.
So just think of it as like adding to your testimony and making it so much better.
It adds to your story, doesn't it? And I think you can look back and feel proud of yourself. Like, because the thing is, even with the forgiving yourself, I would never tell my friends, why are you angry at your younger self? So why do I do that to myself?
Yeah.
So like just then when you said you look back at yourself and you think you're an idiot, I'd be like, no, you're not. Like, you've grown so much. And I'm like, I should talk to myself like that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. I think if we actually started to do that, if we
Mm.
treated ourselves like we were our own friend, like what we would say to our friend, like the advice we would give to a friend, if we gave that to ourselves, I think we'd be like so much more self-loving.
100%. 100%. You always have to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
There's a huge thing I always tell my friends is the power of the mind. It's crazy what you tell yourself and what you attract in your life because of that. It's crazy. You need to talk nice to yourself always.
Life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Whatever you say will happen because we create using our words, our thoughts, our deeds, etc. So like there's so much power, not just in your mind, like your word.
So when it comes to like confidence, I think we can both agree that with self-development comes confidence because you're working on yourself and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, you've got the internal confidence and the external confidence. Let's start with external. So what advice would you have to somebody who's working on loving their outside features or body image and that kind of vibe?
What I could bring it down to would be that I think it all comes down to how you feel on the inside. Because, like, I think if as soon as you start valuing who you are and thinking, okay, I am worthy, not just because I look a certain way or I act a certain way. It
Mm.
doesn't, it's nothing to do with anything. It's just the fact that you are, you're alive, you're a human being, therefore you are worthy, you are special.
Mm.
Also, I saw this TikTok once, and this girl was saying, she was like, my looks are the least interesting thing about me. And how profound is that? Because they literally are. Your looks are just one level of you,
Mm-hmm.
your energy, your vibe, the way you make others feel, the joy you bring to the world, the service you bring to the world. All of these things make you beautiful. And the thing is, people like you can be good looking on the outside, but have low, like resentful energy, and then you can see that that's palpable. That can be felt by people.
Mm.
So I think if you want to be confident externally, I think sort out your body, like your posture, smile, etc.
100%.
As soon as you change, like it's your body tells your mind before your mind can tell your body. So you could say, I want to be confident, but if you're like, I want to be confident, you won't be confident, But if you're like, I'm confident, like you just feel more confident.
I think it's also like, people say like genuine, I don't know if you've seen those TikTokers or whatever, when they stop you in the middle of the For You page and they'll be like, just smile as hard as you can and just laugh. You genuinely start to feel a little bit happier, and you've got me changing my posture now. I'm like,
Your
mm,
physiology tricks your brain into thinking, wait, I must be like confident because I'm like sitting that way.
100%. It's like the fake it till you make it, isn't it?
Thing with confidence. Okay, so the fake it till you make it. So I would basically before like I would like walk around, I'd have the posture, I'd have everything, I'd be like, I'm confident. And like other people would perceive me as confident.
Mm.
However, in my heart, like I wouldn't feel that confident. Like, because the joy of confidence, the fruits of confidence are feeling good within yourself. So there's no point everybody thinking that I look confident if I don't actually feel good about it.
Mm.
So the way that I went about that was I started listening to hypnosis. So I started visualizing and embodying those feelings of the most confident Priya that I can be. And I've never felt like that. Like you feel really different. Like you feel like a different version of yourself. And I think
Mm.
once you start to embody a different version of yourself, then you can kind of tune into that more often. Whereas like
Mm.
otherwise you wouldn't have. So I think that definitely helped. Like visualization and hypnosis are really good ways of changing your subconscious mind and your programming.
Do you think that helps with internal confidence as well then?
Yeah, definitely, definitely, because your subconscious mind determines most of your actions. Like your conscious mind is only like 5% of who you actually are. Your subconscious mind is like a program that runs you. So if you can reprogram that to one of confidence,
Mm.
then you'll just naturally come out. You won't even have to think about it. You'll just naturally be more confident.
So I think that is the one thing, because with like social media and stuff like that, I think young girls are extremely vulnerable to that. Did you ever have any like struggles with self-esteem growing up?
Yes.
Yeah.
For the longest time, honestly, just about everything about the way I looked, my
Mm.
weight, the just like my like acne, like I think it's just about acceptance and not comparing yourself to others. And what I think everybody needs to understand is that you are one in forever. Like
Yeah.
there will never be another one of you ever again. So I think we have to kind of play on that and just be like, I am my own version. Like, why try to fit in when you were born to stand out, sort of thing.
100%. No, that is so lovely. That is beautiful. So obviously with confidence comes health. And you talk a lot about like little tips and tricks on your TikTok about whether that's breathing, digestion, a bit of gut health, and how that sort of affects your mental health as well. But let's start with like digestion or food in general.
I think with digestion, you are what you eat, aren't you? So
Mm.
like everything, I believe that any sort of disease that anybody may have manifests from how you are doing internally. So that's not just the what you're eating, it's kind of what all sorts of consumption. So your food consumption,
Mm.
your mind consumption, what are you listening to, what thoughts are you entertaining? In terms of gut, one thing I've learned is I don't know if you've heard of Dr. Dispenza.
No. I might have. If you show me the face, I'd probably know.
Yeah, Joe Dispenza. So basically, he's like a neuroscientist, and
Right.
he basically figured out that. So what we get from food is like proteins. Proteins are like the builders of us, right? Like
Mm.
we consist of proteins, cells, etc., are made from proteins. So he said that it doesn't actually, to an extent, matter what you eat. It matters about your opinion of that food. So my sister was telling me
Right.
yesterday, she said, food that is prepped with love, eaten with love and joy, will never ever cause you disease. So if you,
Really?
yeah, so because everything is energy. It's the energy you give to the food. So, for example, if I eat chocolate, right, and I think, oh my God, I feel so guilty. Why am I eating it? It's going to be so unhealthy for me. I'm going to get fat. Then that will actually affect my immune system. Like he did a test and it affects your immune system. So you're actually weaker. Whereas like people who ate the chocolate and they were happy about it and didn't feel guilty, they had an increase in like the strength of their immune system.
It's the
Everything
power of the mind, isn't it? Crazy.
it just
Oh my
comes
God.
back to what you think of that food. So you should always bless your food. Before I eat my food, I'm like, thank you for helping me be more healthy. Whatever you want. Thank you for a six pack. Thank you for making me grow. You know, you can ask it for anything.
You said that as well with is that kind of leads into manifestation a little bit? Like you said that about, I think one of your pinned TikToks is about how to manifest your ideal appearance. So that again comes with like talking and
You know what it is? I think everything just comes down to your perception of things. So when you
right.
start to strongly change your perception of something and you act like you already have it, so you're really relaxed because when you have something, you're like relaxed, right? You're not like, oh, I need to be yearning for it or I don't have it yet. You don't feel unsettled. You just act like you have it. So, for example, with skin, what I always say about my skin is like I'm immune to acne, and I don't look at my skin and fret over like the little things that I may physically have in the 3D aspect of it. I just think I know what I have, and I have really clear skin. I'm glowing. That means that I'm telling my body like it's already happened. Because basically, what happens is your brain can't distinguish between what you imagine to be real or what is real. So if you imagine bad things, you know how people have cognitive it's basically where you think you're seeing something else but you're actually something else. So for example, people
Right.
with bulimia, they think they're bigger than they actually are,
Yeah.
hence why they eat less and they puke. So what happens is when you start to think, for example, if I think I'm really, really overweight, then I will be overweight, you know, because what you think will happen.
Because
So
it also leads to your actions as well, because your actions go, that's crazy. And your skin is beautiful as well. So that's definitely worked. It glows. It glows. And then there's like breathing. Because I'm not gonna lie, ever since I think we both talked about this, like our face shape change. I think I'll put a photo if I can find some of like my before and after. Because you could never see my jawline. No matter if I was like stick thin, you could never see my jawline just because I wasn't breathing properly ever.
yeah, it's I just don't understand why we aren't taught these things in
Yeah.
school. They're so important. I don't even think, I think when I was reading this book called Breathe, he was
Mm.
basically saying how humans have changed and the way that they looked physically in the older times compared to now, and how we've actually gotten worse in terms of like we're not, because we're so used to breathing through our mouths,
Mhm.
our structures change, we have more issues like asthma, snoring, sleep
Sorry.
apnea, bad digestion, even like weight gain and like being overweight is to do with the way you breathe.
Do you remember I sent you that photo on TikTok where it was like mouth breathers versus nose breathers? But that was like crazy the differences. You're right, we should definitely be taught that in school.
So I'm also a note taker on the side, and I was sitting in a pharmacy lecture, and she was talking about breathing. I remember thinking, oh my God, yes, like I've learned about breathing. Like, what are you gonna tell us? And I remember thinking, oh my God, like I wish she'd said, like I wish they would tell you, like breathe through your nose, you know, or something like that. At some point in our lives, someone should tell us. We know how to eat properly. We get taught like this is good for you. This is how much you should sleep. So we can go days without sleeping and eating, but breathing, how long can we go for without breathing?
True. And it's so simple. It's literally just that your tongue at the top of your mouth and breathe through your nose. Close your mouth. That's it. That is so simple. Like we should have been taught that in school growing up. And this is such a huge like leap, but don't you think it would put less stress on like healthcare a little bit? Because you know, a lot of people have like prevented, because prevention's better than cure always.
Definitely. But you know what the thing is? They want, this is going to sound very like conspiracy theory sort of thing, but if we were all healthier, right, then we wouldn't need a healthcare system. If we all knew
Yeah.
how to breathe properly, eat properly, take care of ourselves properly, why would we need medication? And think about the amount of billions of pounds they make from pharmaceutical companies, how much the NHS makes, all of that, you know? We'd be happier. We
Yeah.
wouldn't need to consume so much, not just like food, but like other things. We wouldn't need to buy so many things.
And a lot of things glamorized, because I know you stopped drinking, haven't you?
Yes,
I've stopped
yes.
drinking as well. How has that affected you?
my God, it's amazing. You know,
It's so great.
yes, like my skin has never looked so great. Like I always knew there was a connection between my skin and drinking. My skin, I feel so much happier and
Yeah.
healthier. The hangovers were just not the one. I was
Anxiety is disgusting. I talked about this in, I think it was like episode 4. I talked about just quitting alcohol and caffeine. I still have caffeine here and there. I mean, most days, but like alcohol is just, anxiety is actually like crazy scary. I'm not even being funny because it heightens everything. You genuinely question your existence. You're like, oh my God, I literally want to die. It's crazy.
like the next day is cancelled. I can't. It's weird because I can't wait for the day to end and for
Yeah.
me to sleep and then wake up the next day and be okay. I hate it. It's awful. Also, I think you know what it is. It's weird because now, like, if I tell someone, "Oh, I don't drink," they automatically might think, "Oh, did you have like drinking problems? Like, what is it? You're weird. Like, why do you not drink?" And it's weird that nowadays it's more acceptable for you to put poison in your body. It's the worst drug in the world. It's more for you to do that on a regular basis than not to do that, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like they're like, what's wrong with you? Oh, you're so boring. Or is it for like religious reasons? It's like, no, I genuinely just don't. Wait, when did you like first start drinking?
I started drinking probably properly when I was just like over 18 and a half.
Yeah. I'm the same. That's crazy. Exactly the same. I never had an interest growing up. Did your parents drink?
My dad does, yes, but only like beer or like whiskey sometimes.
I mean, my dad's pretty much like, I haven't seen him drink for years, probably like 15 years ago. My mom's never touched it in her life. So I wasn't really brought up around it. And I read this theory where it's like a lot of, I mean, children are so easy influence. So if you're not brought up around something, you're less likely to want to do it when you're older. Or if you do, you're not really that interested. Same thing works for like sweets. So for example, the only sort of like the main sweets I would have growing up was like Haribo's, but a lot of like I don't know, toxic waste or like those like sticky ones that you dip in. I don't know. It's like I'll try those now, and I'll be like, no, I'd rather have Haribo's that I was brought up with. It's crazy because it's like I don't know, like a lot of that is influenced with you growing up.
With the concept you're talking about, I think it's where you've been exposed to it, so it's not really a big thing. It's not like
Oh right.
so usually as humans we like to do things we're not allowed to do. Fuels our rebellion. In terms of drinking, I mean, I think you know what it is. I think there's such a culture in England, especially around drinking, and drinking and socializing goes hand in hand, you know. Everything, going to the pub, going to like clubs, all of that, like there has to be some sort of drinking there, and you feel like you're not really doing it properly if you're not doing that. And especially at university is that's all it is really,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
drank throughout all of university because I'm just trying to think if I didn't at that time, I don't know how I would have coped, because I don't know if it's because I would only hang out with people who drank or whatever, but I barely found anyone who didn't. Very rarely. And every single society, every single social, all of it involved drinking. So I can't imagine somebody who didn't drink at university, like how they, I don't know, like bless them.
Yeah, I think when I was the person watching someone else not drink, I'd be like, oh my God, like, are you okay? Are you really bored? Like, is everything, you know, like you must
It's
be
mad,
so.
isn't it? And now the mind shift, you're just like, you respect it more.
I was gonna say, how did you stop drinking? Like, what made you want to stop drinking?
I mean, so obviously I moved back home and I don't drink at home at all. Like there's not really like there's probably like 3 beer cans in the cupboard, but no one really touches them. Like we don't really have drinks at home. And so when I came home, I just like anytime I would come home from like holidays like Easter or whatever, I wouldn't drink at home. I'd literally just at spoons if I'm meeting my friends or whatever. So it was that, because I was spending a lot of time alone. So I was by myself in my room and like, you know, going on my walks and doing my own thing. But then I think it was when I started my proper self-development journey from September, like a really deep self-love and development and all that kind of stuff. I think when I did that, I started to channel my younger self where I wasn't really interested in alcohol and I wasn't really interested in anything that made me feel rubbish, basically. So I think it was probably from that. And so many benefits to me. Like I think my skin went amazing as well as the fact that I think for me it was anxiety. That was the worst for me. Like I hated that. And also I think it's just your overall health, because you know what happens when you're drunk. For me, a successful night out would have been wasted, but no vomiting. So that was my thing. So I had to master like eating so much beforehand and then so much after, and then like an excess amount of water before bed. And it was just so much pressure on my stomach and my whole body. And I gained so much like weight from that. I was always bloated. It was just, I just didn't feel good. I just felt really gross, and I don't know, because obviously you're eating before and after the night out, and then you're eating the next day because you're hungover, and you're just
And
in bed, and it's like such a waste of a day, don't you think?
it's a complete waste of a day. It's like the worst day ever. You just
Yeah.
can't wait for it to finish and just begin again.
It's
I just
awful.
I think it's crazy that we put ourselves through that. It's crazy that obviously now that I don't drink, I don't know if I ever thought that I would stop drinking.
Mm.
I always remember thinking, I want to get to the point in my life where I can have as much fun sober as I would when I'm drunk. And the way to cut out a bad habit is like by your association, because you associate pain with it because of anxiety.
Mm.
Naturally, you just stop. If you continue to associate pleasure with it, which we did because we thought, social acceptance,
Yeah.
everyone's doing it, I feel good, I'm going out, blah blah blah, then you continue to do that.
100%. I think also for me, it was also like, if you know me, I'm not like, I will never dance sober. Like, I will never, ever, ever, you will never catch me dancing. So for me, it was mainly like, it was like a confidence thing. So I would genuinely get so drunk so that when I'm in the club, I can just dance. Because
Oh,
otherwise I would not, like, I've walked into clubs sober before and I've just stood there, I'm like, like, that was genuinely my reason. So I think if I was confident dancing, then I never would have drank, really, I don't think. But then I did find it fun, and like you said, I did associate it with pleasure, just in general.
it's so interesting because I've always loved dancing, and
Yeah,
especially I always dance. And I remember thinking when I was about 17, looking at my friend, and he was like, "No, I don't want to dance. Like, I need to be drunk." And I remember thinking, "What? Like, who needs to be
that was
drunk to
me.
dance?"
Yeah,
And then when I started drinking, and then let's say I went out and I was sober, I remember thinking, I need a drink now. I just thought, oh my God, like now I associate it with like needing it. Because sometimes in the club, if I wasn't that drunk, I wouldn't even feel confident. I wouldn't even feel like I can let go and like be
same.
just have a good time. The thing is, I wouldn't even be thinking, oh, like I probably shouldn't be doing this. Like this is making me even worse, But you just drink because I think once you start drinking, you need to
Mm.
do something. Like I'm very like I need to be dancing, I need to be talking, I need to be doing something
I just see it
physically.
as a waste if you don't do that. I'd be like, why did I drink that then?
Yeah.
And also, we've saved so much money, don't you think?
Yes.
Oh
So
my God. Oh my God.
so much money.
It's crazy.
Expensive, especially when you go out.
Oh
Oh
my
God.
God. And also with cost of living as well. Like I went to uni in Manchester, so it's like party central. Like so like obviously it was crazy cheap there in first year, then compared to like final year. Or like I went up for my graduation like in December and it was so expensive. Oh my God. Everything was so expensive. It's crazy.
I went to Manchester. I
Did
can't
you?
believe
No, you
Manchester.
didn't.
I did.
What, uni of Manchester?
Yeah.
We
That's so crazy.
are literally the same person. This is crazy. Oh my God. Where did you stay each year?
Oh God, it varied. I was in Hume, then
I was in Hume. This is so, oh my
I
God.
was in
Okay.
Fallowfield, I was in Salford, I was everywhere.
Yeah, I was Fallowfield for the first 2 years and then I was Hume. I loved Hume.
Okay.
Did you
Hume,
like it? To
I
be fair,
mean,
I don't know because they did like a whole revamption of Hume because it was quite a like crime central basically. But I think Fallowfield's probably worse now because it's like it was really clean when I lived there.
yeah, in Hume, my house got robbed. Like,
Oh, did it?
I think that was the first place I stayed in when I moved there, and that was
Oh
years
my-
ago. So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
probably when it was like a little bit more dangerous. Yeah, Fallowfield was dangerous as well. I remember like, did you ever see Fallowfield's student group? The
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like, don't even shut your doors, you'll
Yeah,
get
it's
robbed.
crazy. I think our next door neighbor, we lived in a house of 8, I think in second year, which is crazy. And next door, there were like 10 MacBooks, 10 iPhones, all got stolen. Next door, it was so scary.
My sister's MacBook got stolen in Hume.
Really?
She went Manchester as well. Yeah,
Your twin sister?
yeah. My twin
What's it
sister.
like being a twin?
It's
I know you probably get asked that every day. That's such a boring question.
it's no, it's I mean, I can only give us like obviously only ever had her, so
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I think it's great. Like, it's amazing. It's really nice to have someone. It's basically like having a best friend who's also a family member.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when you do argue, there are highs, I mean, lows, sorry. And then you have like your highs because you're having a good time. And it's just like you always have someone you can trust. Like, I don't feel the
So
need to have
nice.
like loads of friends because I know that I have a quality person that I can go to.
That's so nice. And she's also the same age as you, so you're always roughly going through sort of the same time in life a little bit.
Definitely. So we love to share. I think that's probably what helped me on my journey on self-development, because we both, like, if I learn something, I'll tell her, she'll tell me, and then we're like growing together, you know?
That's so nice. Now I want to talk about being single, because we're both single, obviously, right? Yeah. Okay,
Right.
I can't just assume. That's so rude of me. The relationships, being single. And I think I want to talk a little bit about femininity, because we were talking about this quite a lot. And I think one of the main things I think we both found is that femininity has been a huge part of our single journey, or how we sort of view relationships. So what can you tell me about relationships in general, and then your single journey and working on yourself?
Okay, so I had okay, I think it's been nearly two. Well, to be fair, I've been single technically. I've not been in a actual relationship for a while. I've been in situationships, which, you
Yeah.
know, probably not the most feminine thing to do. But I think basically what happened was I've always kind of been in my masculine energy, and I think like more so than my feminine energy.
Yeah.
And I think that was because growing up, I like in an Indian household, like, you know, there's such an emphasis on wanting a boy, and men are just put on this pedestal. So I just like I would get praise for being like a man, like my
Because
daughter.
you've got sisters, don't you? You've got a twin sister and another sister?
I have three sisters altogether, including my twin sister, and then I have a younger brother.
Right, got you. Oh yes, you
Yeah.
do, yeah. I've got a younger sister, so we're two girls. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
So yeah, so there was such an emphasis on, like, I remember them always for the longest time saying like pray for a brother, like,
Mm.
you know, and everything will be great when we have a son, and I mean, you're not my daughters, you're my sons. So it was, masculinity was just so rewarded, and being feminine was not, like, you know, taking care of yourself physically, like looking pretty, doing your nails, all of that was not rewarded. Receiving wasn't really that rewarded. There was a lot of like guilt and shame about receiving and asking for things and drawing boundaries, all of, you know, all of these things that encapsulate being a feminine woman.
Mm.
And I think it's recently, after I got out of my situationship, like something bad happened, like something that made me realize like you need to get out of this, you need to be by yourself. And for like over a year now, I've been single, and it's been amazing. I've learned so much. I think now I can see why all my other relationships have not worked out. I didn't even allow them to be a healthy masculine because I was so in my masculine energy. I dated men who were very, like, you know, feminine, and I would be the masculine one. But now I'm definitely learning to just sit back, chill, relax. Like, and I think I'm still getting over the kind of hurdles of like not feeling guilty about certain things, about like letting the man pursue me, about letting a man provide for me and protect me, and not having, I mean, it's either like I'm being masculine or I'm being a mother. You know, it's kind of those two that I've been jumping back and forth.
Do you think when you were like in your masculine with relationships, did you do a lot of mothering in that?
Oh my
Because
God,
of
yeah,
taking control?
definitely. The previous guy that I was actually in a situationship with, at one point when I was trying to leave him, he said, "Please, no, mom." And I remember thinking, "Oh my God, you did not just call me your mom." He called me his mom. He actually called me his mom. Only a boy would call
Yeah.
you their mom. I saw this TikTok today, and it was like, a man comes and he gives you strength. He's there. He already has the strength. He doesn't look for the strength in you. Like, he's not going to need you to provide, like, do things for him like a mother would do for him.
I have found that when a guy is in his divine masculine, like you said, having that strength within himself, he's got that logical side, he's got that, basically that strength where you don't have to worry as a woman. You're able to then relax in your divine feminine.
Men are here to provide for women physically, and women are there to provide for men spiritually.
Amen.
That's why men have this bodysuit of strength. That's why they have all the strength. You know, they have more so than us, and they are supposed to go out there and do and be the doers. For example, if you look back at the caveman era, right? The man, you had to find a really fit man who could provide for you and your baby if you had one, because you're a weak woman. You're obviously not weak, but like, you know, in comparison to a man's strength.
Physically. Yeah.
yeah, you're like with the child. If you're pregnant, you can't be going out and hunting for like food. Your man has to do that. He has to be able to protect you from any predators. So we're still the same. Like our DNA and genes are like basically still the same from then. So we still have the same requirements. Men are asking women, what do you bring to the table? But the thing is, we are the prize. We are the trophy. We don't bring, you are here to win us.
You know, David Attenborough documentaries, it's always males trying to pursue the woman. And it's usually like a roster of males. Like they're all competing with each other. And she's just sat there watching and she's like, I pick you. It's like that. It's always been like that. The sperm goes to the egg. There's several sperms competing to go to this one egg.
That is literally the way it's supposed to be. That is the most natural way that it is everywhere. It always has been for us humans. The reason why I'm going to get into why it's not like that and why feminism, I'm going to touch on feminism. Right. First of all, feminism is, we went from one extreme. So we had, like, we were being suppressed to an extent. Not every single woman was suppressed. You know, some women were being suppressed. We weren't able to vote, work, blah, blah, blah. So the pendulum swung from one direction of suppression to the other side of like, we are hyper independent. We are basically the same as men when we're not, you know, and we should be able to go out and work. We should be able to do everything that a man can do. And like, there is no space in our life for a man. The reason why this agenda has been pushed so much and women's liberation, it's because there's a bigger scheme at work. The people in power, they wanted women's liberation because you're not taxing half the population, double tax, and then your children are being handed over to the system. You're indoctrinating the children from such an early age because mommy and daddy are not there. Mommy and daddy are barely there. You know, what's the point? I think, what's the point of having children if you can't actually be there to help them grow up and like teach them and like support them and provide for them and nourish them, rather than just handing them off to schools at such a young age. Like 3-year-olds go to nursery. You know, I saw this TikTok. It was really interesting about Disney movies and how in most Disney movies, the parents die out, right? The parents are gone. So the child is left. It's basically they're subliminally messaging children saying, you can't rely on your parents. Your parents will leave you at some point. And then who do we look for support? Oh, the school system, because where are we all the time? Where are your children most of the time? At school. I mean, schools were created to create employees, to take kids off the street, to create employees, to help the economy. Creativity is what makes you a god, because what's a god? A creator. They shame creativity. Art is shamed. Music is shamed. All of these things that have such a huge influence on us and are the reasons why we're here. Like, creativity is the best, right? Like, it's the highest form of intelligence, yet it's so suppressed by our education system, and one has to wonder why.
It's mad because the last episode, I think it was actually 2 episodes before, I talked to my friend Tanvi, and she's an actress. She's performed in Life of Pi at the West End. Like, she's incredible. And she came to our school in 6th form and I went to a grammar school. She said going from her comprehensive secondary school to coming to our school, she really saw that creativity just was not channeled at all. And she was shamed for doing drama outside of schools. It wasn't even offered as an A-level. I think only about 2 people did arts A-level in the entire, So it was mainly just very STEM focused, and there was no textiles at A-level. There was none of that.
Even, you know how I was discussing this with my sister yesterday? Like, you have to stay in school now from till 18. So why they do that is, first of all, they want you to go to get ready to go to university. So then they're making money. Second of all, apprenticeships. So apprenticeships are a way of getting cheap labor. And then you're also catching the children early on, and you're putting them into these jobs. You're training them up to be in jobs forever. You'll never think for yourself. You'll just think, you'll be bought out of your dreams, of your passions, for what? For the promise of 30k a year. You just catch them early. You say, oh, look, I'm going to, the promise of like a really secure job and secure amount of money, and we need security, blah, blah, blah. Come to us, we'll take care of you. And then you never think, oh, like, you know what? I really wanted to be like an artist. It really makes me happy to be like be an actress or something. You would just never think that, because you're like, well, like, what if I lose my really secure job where I earn this much? How will I pay the bills? Killing their creativity, you're killing people's passion, stopping them from reaching their highest potential.
Because I think you put a TikTok up about, you know, the life coaching and stuff like that. Were you doing a 9-to-5 before?
Before that, yes. Yeah, I was. Yeah, honestly, you know what it is? I just I can't force myself to do it. I just could not force myself to wake up and do that. And I would remember sit there thinking, people have done this for their whole lives. And I'm not surprised these people look so depressed. I'm not surprised they have to go out drinking every weekend. It's so sad. I couldn't do that. I literally could not do that.
How has your life changed then since quitting?
I've just spent a lot of time like yourself in like hermit mode. I'm just like doing my own thing, growing, like pursuing my passions. I'm working towards my long-term goals, and I know what my purpose is in life, you know? And I think when you know your purpose in life, you can have direction. And that direction also gives you motivation. So I have that now. I'm working towards where I want to be, where I see myself being.
How do you find your passion? If someone is like just unhappy in life in general, they don't know their purpose or what their passions are, what would you advise them?
I would say try out loads of different things. What brings you the most joy? Because basically, you manifest based on how you feel. So if you focus on feeling good, then and the thing that makes you feel really good. For example, for me, life coaching makes me feel amazing, right? Helping other people. And I'm good at it. So that's what I've kind of like, you can monetize the things that you like, the natural skills you have. We all have natural skills and talents. It's about finding them, seeing whether they actually bring you joy, and then just doing it for the joy of it. I think a lot of people sometimes think, okay, I need to make money. I need to have this success. It needs to happen very quickly for me. But we need to let go of any expectations from that. You just need to do it for the joy of it. Like if I have one client or I have 10 clients, I still want to be as happy having one as I would having 10 because I enjoy it. If this is what I want to do and this is my passion, it's not work. If it's your passion, it's not work. It's as simple as that.
I think on that video as well, somebody commented saying, not to take away from you, but you're very privileged to say that. What was your response to that?
Oh, I made a response video.
Yeah.
Basically, with that, okay. The person said that I'm very privileged, but the thing is, I'm like, in what sense? Like everybody has opportunities. You have to make opportunities, and you have to grasp them, and you have to work on yourself. I mean, like I just went for it. I know what I wanted, and I went for it. I'm not thinking, no, like people said I can't do it, or like I don't have the resources, or I don't have this, that's why I can't achieve my dreams. So, like if you want excuses to not achieve your dreams, there are plenty. There are absolutely an abundance of them. So like you can't be in this victim mentality. It's about getting out of that and taking responsibility for yourself and everything in your life.
What would you say if, like, let's say he was in that position, but he was like, I genuinely can't quit my 9 to 5 because of the stability it gives me and I have to pay the bills.
Okay.
It's hard, isn't it? Because I completely agree with you with the whole scarcity mindset thing. You have to you can't keep making excuses. Like if you genuinely want something, where there is a will, there is a way. You will, like, for example, with me, if I am not consistent with uploading my podcast episodes, I feel so guilty. And no matter what, if I've got like job interviews, if I've got somewhere to be or whatever, I will be like, no, then I'll wake up earlier to edit. Like I will not make an excuse. It means in my head, it means I didn't care enough.
Exactly. That's it. That's literally it. Like if you care enough and you want it enough, you will make time for it. Nothing can stop you. Like people who have achieved, like all the great people of the world who've achieved success, they haven't necessarily come from a place where it's been easy for them. The thing is, what people see is when you, for example, Muhammad Ali, right?
Yeah.
He's such a great boxer. No one sees him training. Yeah. No one sees the struggle that he has to go through. We just see his victory and assume that he's him. Like there's so much work that has to go into it. And it's about putting that effort in. Like if you're not willing to put that effort in, you can't be mad at other people. Also, that person looked at me like I was not ordinary. They thought this can only happen to her, to people like her. She's special. It can't happen to people like me. So you're minimizing yourself, but everybody can go from the ordinary to the extraordinary. You just have to put in the work.
We don't get taught this in school. But I'll send you the video right after this. It's only about 2 minutes. It is a visual representation. It's a girl reenacting the 28-day cycle. Like people know that, we work on a 28-day cycle, but they think it's just those 3 to 5 days, however long people's periods are. It affects her every single day of the month. Like it's crazy. Like people don't know that. Like I was so shocked. It was like you're in your, I think I don't know if this is correct, but right after your period, you're in your masculine. That's the heightened of testosterone. That's when you feel most productive and most like on the go and all that kind of stuff. So it's crazy how every single day affects us. Whereas with men, they live on a 1 day cycle. That's why they were built to go to jobs, and because they were built to be hunters, weren't they? They would get up every day, they'd go, because they have that physical capability, whereas with us it's so much harder. We still have to work on that, and they tell us just take paracetamol. What if I don't want to take medication? Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, increasingly, you realize that the world is not built for women and in regards to women's health and their biology. I was reading this book. I didn't finish it, but it was a really good book. It was about women's health, and like there's so much information in there about women's health and hormones and just so much that we ignore. And like even things like Vaseline that we all use is actually not good for women's health. Like there are so many,
Really?
yeah.
Oh
I
my
think it's
gosh.
called Within Cycle or something. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to find it, but it's like a pink book. But yeah, like loads of products are not good for women. They affect our hormones. And if you look at it, why do we have an increasing amount of women with cervical cancer, breast cancer, all of these diseases that are around your female genitalia? They stem from you not honoring your divine feminine energy. So when you're overworking yourself, like a woman shouldn't have to do that. We just don't have the capability to work like a man, you know, like 80 to 100 hours a week. That's just not within us. So it damages us. Like I said, at the end of the day, it's the whole get them all ill, get them all really upset and sad, and then they'll want to consume more. They'll want to buy more.
Do you think
And
is that deep? Do you think so?
it's that deep because they don't want citizens, they want consumers, because that builds and fuels the economy. And that's frankly what everything has just become about. Like, isn't it just like find a job, work, feed the economy, pay your taxes, you know?
I've read as well about how there is a cure to cancer, but because all these charity events of like cancer research and all this, it generates so much money that they don't want to release the cure, like because it will be such a financial loss, which I think is disgusting.
I mean, the thing is, I don't know if have you seen Big Bang Theory? Beer. Oh, sorry.
No, I haven't. No,
Okay, so,
no.
and there's a woman in there called Bernadette, and she works for a big pharma company. And I remember her saying, oh my God, yes, there's a new disease. Like, I'm gonna make loads of money now. And they tell you this. They're literally showing us all the time the truth. Like, they create diseases just so that they can benefit from creating the solution. Cancer is basically the reason why people get cancer is built up resentment. It's built up emotion and built up resentment and anger. And if you don't release that, then you get like cancer. So for example, if you're not honoring your divine feminine energy, there'll be a lot of resentment, a lot of anger towards yourself, towards life, and then you can get breast cancer. You know, so it's things like that. So everything, all diseases just have a cause. Like if you went to that actual cause of it, like, okay, I'm neglecting myself in this area, and you worked on that, then you like disease. What disease? Like if you look at the word disease, it's just dis-ease. Your body is at dis-ease. You need to be at ease. Honor your body, listen to your body. But as women, we have to go to work. You can't listen to your body and be like, oh, can I stay at home? I'm on my period. It's really painful. You know, you'd have to dishonor your body and go with the system. Just take it as, I understand that that's the case. However, I will still try my best to honor my body. Also, I'm going to work even harder to fuel my passions, to like have abundance and joy from this area of my life, of my passion.
You know, we talk a lot about like manifestation and what you put out there and stuff like that. I think it was like a couple of episodes ago, I had a presenter called Arija Cowles on my show. And I asked her a question and I was like, on your Instagram story, you put up this was like just before Christmas, you put up your 2023 manifestation mood board on your story. And initially I messaged her and I was just like, I'm a little bit worried about this because of like evil eye, like be careful what you sort of put out there. And what she told me, she was like, Garima, I completely get that. That's the sort of way I used to think, whatever. But now I've started to think, No, even if I put it out there and I tell people whatever will be, and whatever's meant for me is meant for me and will happen to me. So as long as I've got good intention, I don't care if people like, if you believe in evil eye, basically it's going to happen. So she doesn't believe in evil eye anymore. So again, it's crazy, the power of the mind.
I saw that and I literally remember thinking, yes, like that's me. Like I even my mom was like people always talk about evil eye, and I'm just like, I am convinced that it does not affect me. Like, you know what it is? If you believe you are protected, you are protected. Just I what I just do is I envision like a bubble of protection around me, and there's nothing that's getting in there. If you believe it, then that's it. That's it literally exists.
Oh no, the power of the mind is just literally insane.
You can do anything, literally anything. But the thing is, you know what it is? That's why everything is designed to keep you unhealthy and to keep you distracted.
Do you think feminism has killed chivalry?
Feminism, yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't like the whole simp thing. I don't like because I just think why are we like why are men shamed for showing their love to women?
Yeah.
Like a man, if you think about it, men are supposed to be romantics. Men are the romantics. If you look at all the great poets, the artists, the guy who built the Taj Mahal after she died, like what was he gonna get from her after that? You know, like his love was so profound and so deep that he did that even after she was dead. Like they're the romantics, so they should be pursuing a woman.
Yeah.
So this whole like, oh, they shouldn't open the door for me. I mean, the opening the door for you is like the small, like obviously it's still a special thing, but it's like the least that a man should be doing for you.
It's like even when you like go on the tube or whatever, men won't offer their seat anymore to women because they think that women might be offended. Like I can stand, like it doesn't. I think it comes from a sense of fear. But I think a divine masculine man knows that whatever you provide a woman, if she's treated well, she will multiply it always. Whether that's giving her a house, she'll create a home, giving her groceries, she'll create a beautiful meal with love. If you give her a sperm, she'll give you a baby. Like it's just, I think a divine masculine understands that.
Definitely. Like women, it's about receiving, and I think we need to feel safe enough to receive and also
100%.
not feel guilty about receiving. Like when I was dating the guy that I was dating recently, I remember he would pay for things and I would feel so guilty. I'd be like, oh my God, like why haven't I paid? I'm such a horrible person, I'm such a bad person. Like I should have paid for like the meal or this, but inherently I knew that he should be paying, but there was just this thing in me that was saying no, like you're such like this whole like gold digger word and everything. You know, you just kind of buy into these notions and you associate them with yourself, but you don't realize that they're toxic.
It's not about how much money a guy makes, it's about how much he's willing to spend or share with you, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think a lot of men, they have this whole mentality, like, oh, I have to be a millionaire to get like a high value woman or whatever. Like, no, it's just about how safe you make her feel financially, as well as the sort of person you are and how much you're willing to spend and share with her.
Definitely. I mean, because you can be like, you could date a guy who's a millionaire who doesn't spend a penny on you. You know, it's not it's his car.
Or make you feel guilty for doing it, or saying, I did all this for you. There's also that.
Yeah,
you've got providers who are actually toxic.
But you know what it is? That's not providing. That's like a service. That's like, oh, look, I do this now. The end of the deal is that you give me this in return. That's just like I could go into a shop and do that. That's what happens in a shop. Exchange of goods, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think also in those relationships, like I listened to a podcast and she basically said that the reason there's so many divorces these days is because men and women don't know their role in a relationship, which is why there's loads of arguments that you didn't do this, you didn't do that. But I think it's not just that. I think it's also appreciation. I think men need to feel appreciated as well as women. So I think, yes, know your roles, but don't. It's kind of like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and a waitress is going to come and take your meal, or a waiter or whatever. You don't just leave everything crazy messy, or like even street cleaners. You don't just litter because you're like, oh, the street cleaner will clean it up. You still put it in the bin because it shows that appreciation. You want to make their life a little bit easier. So I think it shouldn't be so strict, because then it feels like you said, like a business, like a service, rather than the love aspect. I think that's where the love comes from as well, as appreciation.
I was listening to this podcast and it's Tom. Do you know Impact Theory?
Yes, I think I do. It rings a bell.
And it was such an amazing conversation that we're having. And then he said that men, they need to be loved and they need to feel powerful.
Yeah.
A woman needs to feel loved and supported and safe. So when we're hyper masculine, like if I'm super like I can open my own doors, I can do my own DIY, I can pay for my own meals, then why do I even need a man? What can a man do for me? You know? Like I'm not allowing him to feel like a man.
Yeah.
Also, he said this really cool fact. He said that if a woman, obviously controversial, but he said if a woman actually earns more than the man is 50% more likely to be on erectile dysfunction meds.
Really? Because he's not attracted to that.
He feels emasculated because I think maybe energetically he still feels like she holds the power. Because obviously the whole thing with men is like, I'm powerful, I'm the protector, I'm the provider, and they get such a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But I think the ones that aren't aware of it don't understand the kind of kick they would get out of being that, you know? Whereas like us women, we don't understand the kind of kick we'd get out of just chilling, you know, like sitting back, relaxing, receiving. Like who doesn't want that? What woman doesn't want that?
Women shouldn't be shamed for wanting to be feminine. I think it's become a bit of a shameful thing sometimes. Like, oh, you just want to rely on a man. You just want to do this, do that. Like,
attraction exists because there's a polarity, right? It's not like when we have magnets. It's not like is it south and south? There's a repulsion.
Yeah.
So with them two, when they're both in their masculine energy, well, the thing is they can't both be. He is probably more in his feminine energy then, and she must be more in her masculine energy because for there to be attraction, there has to be a polarity. There has to be a difference in energies. Hence why the masculine and the feminine go together.
Yeah.
So if you're finding that you're becoming the masculine in your relationship, then he is the feminine, and that it just can't work. It just won't work.
100%. Because you want to be in a relationship so that you gain something from them as well as you can give something that they can't give to themselves, like both ways.
Definitely.
That's what makes it so special. Like we're meant to like love each other. Like I think it's become so much like men are trash, women are trash. And I don't like the whole toxic feminism. And I don't like the whole red pill thing as well. I think they're both so hateful. They're both so hateful.
I was reading about this. So there's this whole notion of like us women connect with each other when we trash men. But you literally can't trash men. How can we like spend our life with someone who we chat shit about all the time? We're gossiping about you in our private time, saying we hate men, we hate men. But how can you love and hate someone? You know,
100%.
It's so confusing.
And if you say I love men, you're cancelled. You're called a pick-me girl. No.
Yeah, so what? Like the thing is, you know what it is? I think it's about looking at life and looking at people like souls. Like we're souls. We're not just a man or a woman. You're your soul. So like men, yeah, there are some men who are troublesome and toxic, but there are women who are troublesome and toxic.
Yeah. I never used to think women were toxic. Ever. I used to be like, women don't cheat. Like, well, I think I only found out women cheated like 4 years ago. Like when people would tell me like, oh, my ex-girlfriend cheated, I had no idea. I genuinely thought it was just a male thing. It's a statistic apparently that women cheat just as much, if not more, than men. And I was shocked.
You know what it is? It takes two to tango. A man can only be as toxic as a woman allows him to be and accepts his behavior. And the thing is, everybody who you are with is an energetic match to you. They're like an inverse reflection of you. So, for example, I was in my masculine energy and I attracted someone who was in their feminine energy. And it just didn't work. But he was showing me, look, Priya, you need to be in your feminine energy if you want to receive these things, because you being in your masculine is not making you happy and it's not making him happy. And like I think it's about responsibility, like taking responsibility of your actions. Like I don't turn around and say it was all his fault, you know, because I was there too. I did some things, you know, I attracted him. Like I said, you attract who you are. So if you're attracting toxic relationships into your life, it's about taking, you know, inventory of yourself, like 100%. Going back to yourself and thinking, what am I doing wrong here? What's causing me to attract this? Why am I a magnet for this?
100%. It's also about accountability as well, because I used to, like I said at the start, I used to victimize myself all the time because in my head I was like, yeah, I've got good intentions, whatever, but you still need to take responsibility. So like with me, wait a second, Karima, you let him do that to you. You put up with that. You could have left. You could have said this. You could have done that, or you could have, do you know what I mean?
What we permit, we promote.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Like people treat us the way we allow them to treat us. That is
It's
literally,
as
and
simple as that, isn't it?
it literally is. And I think once, like, the thing is, life is very simple. I
Yeah.
think we just overcomplicate it and we just don't understand how simple it is.
What we've been talking about throughout this entire thing is what you put out and what you say is what you attract and what you notice more in your life. So I made a vow to myself about 2 3 months, maybe 2 months ago, just over a month ago. Whenever I'm with girls and one of them starts to say, "Oh, men are trash, men are blah, blah, blah," I'm not going to engage in it. I'll kind of talk, but I'm not going to say anything myself because, in my opinion, I think the more I say men are trash, I'm going to be attracting the toxic ones, or that's how I'm going to see them. Whereas if I say no, men are great, like there are toxic ones, of course, toxic men and women, I've learned, but if the more you say that, the more you're going to attract that. I think the more I'm gonna, yeah, that's just because I believe that the less I engage in those conversations, the better guys there will be in my vision and my peripheral.
Definitely, definitely. Like, I don't like saying men are trash at all.
No.
I say, I affirm there are amazing men out there.
Yeah.
There are so many high value men out there. I only attract high value men because the thing is, the world that you create with your words is the world that will be a reality. So if you constantly say men are trash, then your world will be filled with men that are trash. So you have to just change that, like, that whole experience around men, and just, like, if you want a good man in your life, then you have to make it real in your head and tell yourself that they exist. Because if you constantly think they don't exist, then how will you find one? How will you attract one into your being, like into your life?
100%. You said high value man. For
Hmm.
you, what constitutes a high value man?
Oh, okay. A high value man is someone who, okay, someone who wants to provide and wants to protect. Like, they know that this is just someone who is a divine masculine. He wants to provide, he wants to protect, he's very open-minded, very self-aware, very respectful, loving, kind, generous. He's happy, like he's doing what he wants to do in life. And someone who's powerful, I think power is a very
It's
huge
so hot. It's so hot.
That's when they're that's their prime. Like, that's when you're a divine masculine, when you're powerful. Because when you're powerful, it makes me feel powerful. I feel safe. I feel secure.
Yeah.
And then I can flourish. I can thrive because I feel safe.
I also think, like, mine's completely the same as yours. I also think a man who values femininity and doesn't see it as a weakness, but sees it as like a superpower.
Yeah,
Because I think
definitely.
there's a huge misconception that femininity is weak and, oh no, but it's literally just about being submissive. It's actually so powerful. If you look at, like I said, even the David Attenborough, like the animals and stuff like that, she's so powerful. She knows her worth. She knows what she deserves. She has these roster of men, and she's like, no, I want that one. I think he knows my worth just as much as me. And do you know this whole like Laurie Harvey thing that's been going around?
Yes, yes.
You know how
Yeah.
she's basically, in my opinion, I think she's mastered the art of detachment. I think she falls in love with how a guy treats her rather than the guy. Because I think as women, we're so loving. Like, I don't know about you, but if I love so deeply with everyone, friends, family, everything. And so I think that's when women need to protect themselves. I think with femininity as well, I just think there's wounded femininity. I still need to send you that ebook. I'll send that to you.
Yeah.
There's wounded femininity, and then there's basically healed femininity, and healed femininity is the superpower. Wounded femininity is when you allow people to walk all over you, which is what I'm still getting out of. I think a man who definitely values her and knows that whatever he gives her, she'll multiply it.
Definitely. I think just men who value women in general, and I think just someone who understands that he doesn't need a woman to do anything in particular. Like, she doesn't have to be a good cook. Like, I've spoken to, like, I actually have a friend who's, like, I would class as a high value man, and I'm always speaking to him and asking him, and I've learned so much from him about what it is to be a high value woman.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't need someone who can cook or clean or can do any of these things. Just someone who respects themselves, has boundaries, wants to work on themselves, on, like, self-development, someone who's respectful, someone who's inspirational to others. And I think the the younger version of me would have thought, oh my God, respectful. So I can't wear certain things and I can't do this and I can't do that, you know, and why? But now I think that's amazing. Like he wants someone who other people respect, who look up to, and like she doesn't have, and he's like, yeah, she doesn't have to work. Like if she wants to, she can. And I'm just like, wow, like men
Yeah.
exist out there, and I love
Yeah.
that.
I think there's a lot of misconception with the whole provider thing as well, because I think a lot of women, they might want providers, but they still want to go on with their side hustles or with their jobs. They can. They
Yeah.
can. Have you had that whole thing of like, what's my money is mine, what's his money is ours?
Oh yes, definitely, for sure. You know what it is? Because I think in the terms of like a woman can work, it's not even like it should be doing what she's passionate about, surely.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't even class that as work. It's not like she'd be working to provide to sustain us because he's got that down. I'm doing it because that's what fuels me, and maybe I can be of service to the world in this way.
100%. I think also there's a huge misconception about high value men and loyalty. I think, in my opinion, I listened to this on Thoughtcast. Have you heard of Thoughtcast?
No.
I'll send you that as well. I forgot to add that to the list actually. But he's a high value man. And he said on a podcast, he said, I completely disagree with the idea that high value men cheat, because that basically shows a lack of discipline. I know you talked about sexual discipline as well. I feel that's another thing, sexual discipline in high value men. So, you know, all men have those urges. All men are like so horny, whatever. But a high value man knows and respects his woman and doesn't step outside of a relationship and just... I think when you're a high value man, you're disciplined, and I believe that's in every sense of the word. Whether that's your finances, your health, your woman, your goals, your fitness, all of that stuff, as well as your relationship. You won't step outside.
You won't, because you know what it is. You're aware of the commitment that you've made. Also, like discipline. It's just like why, like they just understand that their body is a temple. You know, that's what I want. I want a man who treats his body like a temple. And it's like we're taught to do that. Like we're shamed if we, you know, step out and we become promiscuous. But I think a man shouldn't be promiscuous. Like sexual energy and that connection is such a profound connection, and you're sharing everything with each other, like your pain, your trauma, etc. So why would I want a man who just goes and gives that to anybody?
100%.
That's not attractive to me.
100%.
You know?
I wouldn't want a man who watches porn either.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely. The thing is, it's such a complete different world. It's like almost like looking at a fantasy game. Like, you know, when you play games online, like for example, COD or something, it's completely different to real life, right? But you just, it's so amazing on there that basically in comparison, real life doesn't meet those expectations. So you need a higher drive. You have higher resistance to getting like, aroused.
Yeah.
You just need more. And then the thing is, the more that you need becomes aggressive. Maybe it becomes really weird and creepy. And you know what, I fully believe that this is the reason why, like, some celebrities, they get into like pedophilia and stuff like that. They do it because, okay, imagine you got everything right, like you've got loads of money, fame, blah blah blah, but mentally you're probably not okay because fame causes trauma. So then you just think, oh, okay, like women are like, if you're a hot man, oh, I get plenty of women, like they just don't excite me, let me go for a kid. You know, because you just want the next best thing. It's almost like, you know, when you take drugs, like if you take like heroin for the first time, it's amazing, but then after that you need more. It's a gateway for a reason. It goes to harder stuff, whatever. Let me try a kid, or like let me try tying you up and like, I don't know, beating you or something. It just gets out of hand.
It just makes me feel sick. I can't lie. Like I was watching a video. I'll send you this video as well. I've got so much to send you, so much. She basically talks about how if you have a guy with no sexual discipline, it genuinely is. She says, "Call me crazy," but I believe it leads, like you said, to pedophilia and to like cheating and all that stuff. It's not just like aside from, you know, being sexually attracted or whatever. It's like exactly what you said, when you're so used to watching it that, like you said, you go to something that's a bit more messed up or something that's a little bit like, ugh. I just don't like it at all. And not only that, it's an industry that exploits young women and children.
Definitely.
completely. And it's completely distorted the idea of sex completely.
Has like it's such a beautiful, profound, like special connection. The thing is, what they've done is they've tainted sex overall. So like I watched this really cool video on Instagram. It said that sex is for three things. It's for procreation, pleasure, and then spiritual growth. So
Oh,
basically, when you're both really healthy in your healthy energies, when you come together and you have sex, like you literally experience ecstasy. Because think about it, sex is such an amazing thing. You feel your body feels good, and the amount that you can manifest from that is like there it's limitless,
yeah,
and like you're so connected with each other. The thing is, sex is all about like the physicality of things. So like, oh look, just put a naked woman with her boobs out on a picture of something and they all sell. So they've made it so external. They've made it so shallow with porn, etc., that they've taken away from how profound and special it actually is because they know how
100%.
special it is and they want to
100%.
take that power away from people.
Yeah, there's even a thing called tantric sex that I had no idea it was about. Do you know about that?
Yes, yeah, I've heard of that, yeah.
Like
It's
it's about like orgasming without even touching each other. Like it's crazy stuff, and that sounds even way more fun than just getting like beat up with a rope. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
definitely,
It's
definitely.
crazy. I have a high value man friend as well,
Mhm.
and he basically, we were talking about this on the phone the other day, and I was explaining about how I wouldn't want my man to like watch porn, and I wouldn't allow it in my relationship. I just don't like the idea of it at all. And he was just like, Garima, I literally stopped. The last time I watched porn was probably about 2 years ago. And he said it's had such a positive impact in his life, not just because he channels that energy somewhere else with men. Sex is basically just is so much energy for them. Do you know? That's why with sports athletes and things like that, they're not supposed to have sex like 6 months before or something like that, because it's a buildup of that energy. They can use that elsewhere. So he said he's able to work on his business, as well as the fact that when he now gets intimate with a girl, whatever, it's so much more exciting and pleasurable for him, because he's like, I'm not used. Yeah, that's the thing. You're used to seeing a woman's body, so when you do, it's not that exciting. And I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like the power has been taken away from us, because obviously, like the best thing about being a woman for me is also just like how central we can be and how we can sort of make a guy weak just with our bodies and sexuality, whatever. I think that's been taken away from porn because they're just so used to it, and because their idea has been so distorted that even if I do get naked, they won't get that excited, because it's like I'm just used to seeing that.
Yes, definitely. It's so sad because women, we have such beautiful bodies and we can cultivate such amazing energy. And I feel like the thing is, you know what, men who actually watch porn a lot,
Mm.
they basically it affects their ability to communicate, the levels of empathy. It
Yeah,
actually has so much effect on loads of things in you. And men who do it too much, they're actually I think they're more likely to get things like erectile
yeah,
dysfunction.
yeah. Do you want to talk about this stuff?
Can you hear me? Okay, can you turn the volume up, please, of your game? Oh my God, I'm just getting.
Bless him. How old is he?
He's 12.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, he's just sitting outside playing a game. But yeah, it affects you so much. I would never ever like casual sex. I'm not about that. Porn. I'm
No,
not about that
no,
either. Be
completely
disciplined.
agree.
I'm disciplined. I can
Yeah,
control myself. Why are you a kid in a candy store who can't say no?
it again, that shows a weak mindset, doesn't it? Because
Also,
you're giving in to temptation.
the thing is also think about it this way, right? You know, men who are pushy
Mm.
and men who will like rape you, etc. The thing is, when like a man who is in his divine masculine energy, who treats his body like a temple, would accept your no. He would take your no and be like, okay, cool, like I respect her because he respects his body. A man who doesn't respect his body, who can get any woman, will be like to a woman who says no, what do you mean no? Everybody else says yes. How can you say no to me? How dare you deny me? I own you like I own every other woman that I've done this to. You know, that whole like pushiness and forcefulness also comes out.
100%. I think a divine masculine is able to control his urges, his emotions, all of that, and respects women. Because I think there's a lot of things where women, they've said no, and a guy's like, all right, but what he'll do is he'll make her feel guilty for saying no, even if they don't do anything in the end.
Yeah.
That's still, it's women in such a vulnerable position. Like, I'm
Yeah,
completely like you, I'm not into casual sex and all that stuff either.
definitely. I think, his life has actually changed since I've started to conserve my sexual energy. The thing is, men lose. So, from the Taoist point of view, I don't know if you've heard of the Tao. It's like this
No.
Chinese Chinese philosophy.
Okay.
It's really profound. It talks about energy and stuff like that. So it says that men lose energy through ejaculation. So we all have life force energy, and that's coming back to obviously the athletes, etc. They conserve that energy, and women actually lose their energy through their period. That's why
Right.
we can keep going when it comes to, that. Whereas like men get really tired and they can't.
Oh my God. So is that
Yeah.
why usually after sex boys just fall asleep and we get like
Yeah.
hyped up, basically?
We're like, what?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Even just like I'd say 99% of men don't even know where the clit is.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what is
Yeah.
that?
I,
You watch it like 5 times a day for 20 years or whatever, which is disgusting, and you still don't know. Because again, important, you don't show that side. It's
you know
all
what
made
it
for men.
it's also for self gratification because you know
Yeah.
what it becomes about. Becomes about them coming. It's not about you.
Mm.
Whereas the divine masculine would make it about you, about
Yeah.
giving you so much pleasure and not even caring because your pleasure is his pleasure.
Yeah, 100%. It's like what you said earlier about the whole provider relationship where you said women give spiritually, whereas men give physically. Is that what you said?
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
same thing with sex, I think, because physically you can see it, he's fully giving something, but it doesn't mean he's not getting anything in return.
yeah. And if he's a real man, he would be getting. This would be enough for him, more than enough for him.
100%. I hate porn. Hate it. I used to watch it growing up.
Me too. But
And ever since stopping, which is probably about, I can't remember how long ago, I feel amazing. Did you ever get that guilt thing as well after watching it?
oh my God, yeah. As soon as
As soon as, yeah.
once I actually cried.
Yeah, I've cried as well. I felt disgusting.
God, it was
Because
awful.
again, yeah, it's awful. Again, it also teaches men like instant gratification
Yeah.
rather than deferred.
You know what it is? I think it kind of it got to a point where it was just like a quick get it on, quickly watch it, blah, 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 do your thing, and that's it. Whereas like it's supposed to be such a slow, semi,
Yes.
because women we're not microwaves. You don't just turn us on, we're on. We're like a
They're
oven or like a
completely different.
fireplace.
Yeah.
It takes time, and
Yeah.
it just doesn't work for us.
No. And now, like, it's probably so much better because now we take time with our bodies. We like, do you know what I mean? A proper understand
Yeah.
who we are without just watching awful stuff. Because, I don't know. I just hate what it's done to sex. I hate it.
You just think about it this way. Just think that it's okay. Not everybody does, because trust me, there are men out there who do not watch that, who
Yeah.
just don't engage in that, and just always constantly bring it around to there are men who exist that aren't like that. Yes, there
Yeah.
are. They
True.
do exist, but there are some that don't, and those that don't are coming my way.
No, I love that. You're right. Actually, I changed what I said.
Yeah,
There's
just
whatever, like it's
it.
sort of, yeah, no, it's I think I texted you this earlier. It's sort of like you push the people. I think women get really worried about being straight up on dates and like, I want to provide, I want this, whatever, because they're worried about scaring the guy off. But what you're actually doing, you're pushing the ones you don't want out the way and leading to the one you want.
Yes, exactly.
You should thank him for being honest and like telling you up front rather than wasting your time.
Exactly. Rather than like, yeah, that's it.
What would you say are some major red flags and green flags to look out for?
Okay. For red flags, I would say if he opens up very quickly, like I've experienced this with like my sister, like when she was talking to this guy, he opened up literally on the second day about family, like really deep family trauma. Even myself, actually, this guy, he opened up on the first day telling me about like the most traumatic thing that happened to him.
Love
And
bombing.
thinking, why are you
Yeah.
telling me this? Like, how can you don't trust, like, you're doing this for a reason. Because usually you open up when you trust that person, when you feel safe and you're both sharing. But the fact that he did that, it's because they want to cultivate a sense of intimacy and closeness with you quickly. Like, okay, you know me, now let me know you, and then we're really, really close, and then we can just get things moving along very, very quickly.
I think it's also like they open up that way because they know women like give so much and they want to basically sort of, it's a form of manipulation because they know that a woman's weakness is just wanting to help and wanting to, I don't know, I'm explaining it really bad, but you get what I'm saying.
The thing is, it would appeal to the woman who is being a mother because she'd be like, oh my God, no, my baby.
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
God,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
let me save that happened to you. Because initially, when that happened to me, when he told me, I remember thinking, this is the pivotal point in my life where I was changing. So I was like, wait, in the past, I might have been like, oh my God, like hug me, like I'll take care of you. Because I would always feel like, let me take care of you, let me soothe you, let me nurture you, you know. But then I just thought, why are you telling me this? You're just telling me this just to move things along. Like, I think also another red flag is someone who's trying to move things along very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I have told myself that I'm not doing anything until marriage. And you know what? I used to think that
What
was such a
celibacy
bad thing.
advice?
Yeah, celibacy. And even I was thinking, why would I even, okay, maybe if we're engaged, I might kiss you. But, you know, even that, because think about it, right? If you do anything, any form of intimacy, even kissing, right? Why would you do that if you don't actually know that you want to marry them? Like, for me, I just think I want to have marriage. Like,
Mm.
I'm ready for marriage now. I don't want to waste time because I don't want to have a boyfriend. Because basically, I watched this video, this lady who always talks about like, she's Pakistani slash Indian, and she always talks about like you shouldn't want a boyfriend because a boyfriend is you as a woman giving your value away for the price of what having a boyfriend,
I
you
see.
know, like a man. That's what's happened now with the whole women's liberation. All women can sleep with as many men as they want, but the thing is we're giving away our prized possession and all that we have and our energy for free. We're not getting
Mm.
anything in return. Is he putting everything on it? Is he committing to you? Like, what is he giving to you? He's not
Mm.
giving anything to you, you know. So now I just think, even if I have a boyfriend, like, why am I going to be a wife for him? Because think about it, you are right. To some extent, you are a wife. And
Mm.
men's life improves massively when they have a woman, whereas a woman's life doesn't actually improve that much as a man's life would. So a woman is a bonus to a man, whereas a man isn't really, unless he's really, really healthy, obviously, like isn't really that much of a bonus to a woman. So in that sense, I just think, okay, why am I going to kiss you if I don't even feel like I'm going to marry you? Like, why am I going to do? Because everything is an exchange of energy, you know, even that little thing. Because once you kiss, I always think if, for example, you kiss on the second date, everything always becomes about that. Does it not? Oh my God, okay, we kissed, then what's next? Then what's next? And then you're
I
kissing all the time.
see.
And then everything becomes super physical and intimate. And then you
Mm.
lose the getting to know them stage, that
I
emotional.
see.
I think it's really important to connect emotionally and from your soul and mentally before you connect physically.
Okay. Because I went to, you know, that event I told you I went to, Ruiz event, he's a TikToker, and it was about the union of masculine and feminine energy. So it was a mix of girls and boys, and we were talking. And then after the event, we all sat together and just having a chat. And one of the guys, he said he wants to wait till marriage. He was like, that's how I know a woman really loves me, because she cares to figure out who I am, and we have that emotional connection before we sleep together. And a lot of everyone else, what they were saying, they were just a bit like, but don't you think sexual connection is just as important? Because what if you've got an amazing emotional connection, but then you get married and then it's just not as great? What are you going to do in that situation? He was like, I think it will work though, because we've got that emotional connection. So why would the physical not follow through? So what's your opinion with that?
You know what? This is the same sort of dilemma that I was thinking about because I was always that person who said, why, like, of course you have to have it before marriage because how do you know whether you're compatible or not? But I think what it is I think if you connect enough on a soul level and you just know that this is it, like, and you're open minded and you maybe you've discussed things, you know. I don't know. I think when you get to it, you will make it and you'll both be open enough and you'll love each other enough to provide a safe and secure space for both
Mm,
of you to just try out and find your own thing. Like, it doesn't have to be like anybody else. Like, it doesn't have to be what it was like with someone else. Your sex life will be different with that person, and you can make it your own. You can make it unique, you know? So I
yeah.
think just take it as it goes and be open to learning, trying new things. As long as you're open to that, I can't see how it wouldn't work.
No, fair enough. I forgot my question again. Oh no. Okay, I've forgotten. I've
It's
forgotten
okay.
fully. It will come back hopefully. Okay, so green flags is basically the opposite of everything that you've said.
Yes. The green flags would be, I think, you know what?
Oh, I've got my
Now,
question. I've got my question. Sorry to
okay.
interrupt. Okay, so I remember that video that you put up on TikTok. You sort of briefly mentioned it just now about how you don't believe in dating and going out and seeing a guy and thinking, "Can I spend the rest of my life with him?" So
Yeah.
how would you go about that then, going into marriage? Because you said you're ready for marriage now, if the right guy comes along.
I just think, first of all, I think the person who's meant for you will never pass you by. Like, they are on that path. to you. And I think I'm just on the path of I'm doing and building on myself, and I'm cultivating a state of happiness and contentment, and that energy will be full of love and joy, right? Because I'm content. And then naturally the person that is for me will just come into my life because they're also at that level. I'll just attract them. I don't have to go out of my way to go on dates or anything. It could be anywhere. I could be walking down the street, they could be walking their dog, I could talk to their dog, and boom, we get
So it's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to happen.
Of course. I think you have to have faith that it will happen.
Yeah.
And it will happen.
Like, let's say the dog thing does happen and you get talking and you go on a date and get to know each other. How long would you wait then until he proposes or whatever?
God.
That's a bit personal. You don't have to answer that.
Oh, no, it's okay. I'm just trying to think of what it would be. I think, you know what it is? I think there's no time limit. I think it would be, I would take it as it comes. Like ideally, I'd want to spend time with that person, engage what their character is like, and see what they, like I said, what they do for me, but also just, I think, see them in different and have different experiences with them. I think the most important thing is seeing someone in loads of different experiences, because then you can gauge what like the basis of their character is. Because I'm looking for integrity. Like, are you the same in, a lot, like let's say about 70% of situations you will be the same. I can trust who you are, sort of thing. And I know you, and I know that you have values and principles. So I think it would just be about that, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I'll just have to take it as it comes.
Yeah, you'll know if it's right. Yeah, you know what I mean? Definitely. I think also one thing that I listened to on a TikTok, I think it was Michelle Diaz who said this. She said, I think in this generation, the reason why a lot of relationships don't work out is because you value the person, the relationship, and thinking that you're going to work out based on similar interests rather than similar values. And I thought that was so powerful, because similar interests are only going to get you so far. You can like do those, like, let's say you both love golf. You can both do golf together. But at the end of the day, when you're not doing golf, what's like your values might be completely different, and you might, do you know what I mean? So definitely valuing their morals and values and what they want in life compared to interests. Because you might have great interests with another guy, but you wouldn't want him as a husband.
For sure. The thing is, because when you're with someone, that union, you almost become one, and it's like having the same vision for life, wanting the same thing from life. If you want kids and you want to grow a family, but the other person doesn't want that, but you both like swimming, it doesn't mean that you should be together. It just means that you could be good swim buddies.
Yeah.
It's definitely much deeper than that. It's just having the same goal in life, or like similar goals where you're on that one direction,
and you know how your relationship wants to work, and you know what you both bring. I think for me as well, it's also a green flag is like healthy communication, because with me, I say I'm a really straight up person, or honest, but it will always be in a kind manner. Like, I'll never get personal no matter how angry I am. And I think that's how a divine man is. Like, when he's angry or whatever, he won't ever be on, I don't know, like healthy communication and emotional intelligence. You to me, you seem like you've got so much emotional intelligence. I wanted to ask you about that. How would you work on emotional intelligence? Because I think somebody like me who feels everything very deeply, I want to work on that, and I want to master the art of like detachment and knowing when to deeply love and protecting myself and all that stuff.
I'm honestly the same. I feel I'm very sensitive to energy.
Yeah, me too.
I feel very deeply also.
Extremely.
I think the way that I've guided myself through that is, I think when you're feeling emotional, tell yourself that this is just temporary. This isn't the way it's always going to be. This is the wave that you're riding. And emotions are just energy in motion. It's basically just a response of your body to your environment, to something going on. So we just have to take notice of what's going on. And also, I think, step back. I think you meditate, right? So you understand that we're not our mind. There's an observer within us, and that's the real us. We're observing, but then there's the mind, and we associate with the mind. So when you have your emotions, kind of go back to the observer. Just kind of sit back and just observe what emotions and thoughts are going around in your body, and then think, okay, why do I feel like this? For example, if you feel really jealous because someone else has something, why do you feel like that? Okay, I feel like that because I feel like I feel insecure about the fact that I haven't done enough to go and get my like to succeed myself. You know, that person, for example, the person who the whole life coaching thing, they probably felt a little bit jealous. They probably thought, oh my God, she has that, you know, why don't I have that? But it's about, okay, but you feel guilty and resentment towards yourself because you're not working towards yourself. You know, so it's like that. It's basically just being mindful of it and learning from it,
and then reflecting it back to yourself and why you're feeling that.
Also feeling it is so important. If we don't feel it, if we don't kind of like allow safe space to be angry, like it's okay to be angry, like especially righteous anger. I don't want people to scrutinize like anger, because righteous anger, for example, if as feminine women, if someone oversteps the boundaries, for example, someone is forcing themselves upon us, yes, damn right, you're allowed to get angry and be like, get the hell off me, who do you think you are, you know, and then turn into that like bad bitch.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then you're not honoring yourself, and you have to honor yourself in that sense. So of course anger is okay in that sense, but if it's just like at little things all the time, then it's constantly just reflection of what's going on inside, basically.
Yeah, okay, I'll work on that for sure. You read loads.
Yes.
And a lot of your TikToks come from different books, and I've wanted to ask you, what are like, let's say like a top three books that have changed your life, and what have they given to you?
So I will start with the first one that I've read that kind of helped me on this journey into like spirituality and just like self-development. It was called Many Lives, Many Masters by Dr. Brian Weiss. And in there, I was really confused before about life. I was confused about what's the truth of life, what religion shall I follow, what belief should I have, should I believe in science, or, you know, it was a really confusing time. And then I remember reading that book, and he was talking about past lives and reincarnation, and it just made so much sense, like, because one of the laws of physics is energy can't be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed from one form to another. And then in there were like messages. So the woman was under hypnosis. Her name was Catherine. And she had loads of phobias, right? She had so many phobias, but it didn't make sense in her life why she would have them. And then he did hypnosis on her he didn't realize that you could do past life hypnosis, that you can basically go into your past lives. He thought it was just in this life. And then suddenly she just starts talking about these other lives that she's lived. And then as soon as she brings her awareness, for example, in one of them, she drowned. You know, let's say she drowned. I can't remember if it was drowned, but she did have a phobia of water. So let's say she drowned. As soon as she experienced that past life and she brought her awareness onto that, her phobia disappeared.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So a lot of the times that we have phobias or like we have certain skills, it's because we've carried them on from our past lives, and we've all had so many past lives. I mean, not all of us, but like some of us may be new souls here on earth, but a lot of us have had past lives, and we carry those traumas with us, and it's just about working through them. So hypnosis is always like a great place to start if you want to unpack some things that you don't know where they came from.
You know, that's crazy. Next week, I think I'm recording a podcast with a hypnosis therapist.
Oh, no way!
Yeah. So send me some questions if you want me to ask her anything.
Okay.
That'd be great. And I had like my first little taster session earlier this week, and it was incredible. She just taught me like meditation techniques and things like that. I'll send you her stuff. She's great. Wow. She'll give you like a free 30-minute taster.
Oh my God, yes. I've been meaning to go to get like past life regression, because basically you realize we also have a soul family. So we actually reincarnate with like a similar group of souls. So I might have known you in my past life. Like,
really?
Yeah, definitely. Like your parents, your friends, like people who are really close to you, you will have reincarnated with them a lot.
Good.
The second book I would say is The Four Agreements. Basically, quite a short book. It talks about teaching you to be impeccable with your word. So the importance of words, the importance of like words on yourself and onto others. It's about not making assumptions, doing your best. There's a TikTok I made about being domesticated. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah, about pets and animals. Yeah.
He talks about that as well. Like, it's a really profound book. It's just like a very nice little starter into being more self-aware.
I'll link everything in the description.
Okay, the last one is this is the one that I've been reading recently. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it has transformed my life. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. I told you about this.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I can't even explain to you, like, once I started reading this book, like, he has so many profound quotes in there, and he's just so motivating, and the way he says it and the way it's set out, it's not like a textbook. It's like a story, and just everything. He basically convinced me to start waking up early. Like, I now am someone who wakes up early and goes for a jog.
Oh my
I'm that
God.
person. I would look at these people and think, who are you? Like, why are you jogging? Who jogs at this time? You know? But now I'm that person, and I love it. Like, my life has transformed in the past month so much. I'm a completely different person.
Even that TikTok you put up where you're like, it's currently 8:30 a.m. and I've done this, and I just follow me, and I woke up at like 1 p.m. and I was like, oh my God, Garima, what are you doing? No, that motivates me so much, because I think I told you as well, growing up, I was always a morning person, early riser, and everyone always make fun of me, like, oh my gosh, she gets up at like 5 a.m. without an alarm.
You know what? I think naturally we're supposed to be like that. We're actually
Yeah.
supposed to go to sleep early around 10ish and then wake up really early around 5, because our body is supposed to function that way.
Yeah.
And when we don't, that's why when we wake up later, you think that you have more energy, right? You're like, I've had plenty of sleep. But quality of sleep is not tied with the quantity of sleep. So the more sleep you get is not necessarily the higher quality of sleep you get.
Yeah. And also, like, waking up, like you said, is naturally, like, it's meant to be natural for us to wake up early, is because that's when the sun comes out. Like, there's that whole thing of like the weather affects your mood. Like today, I feel so much happier than I did the other day when it was like a stormy weather or whatever.
Definitely.
Like the 1 p.m. that was only like the other day. I don't wake up like that normally.
I think, you know what it is? When you're younger, you just think the later you stay awake, the cooler you are.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Like, I'm an adult now. I don't go to bed early. I don't have school. But the older you get, you realize it's actually cooler to go to sleep earlier than later. The one way that I think it is, it's because when you're on your phone, we're like drug addicts, okay? Like, dopamine hit. We're watching videos, we're receiving texts, we're receiving notifications, and you're constantly being stimulated. And blue light is actually not good for you. So the longer you're on technology, the less likely you are to feel sleepy.
Yeah.
So naturally, you'll stay on there longer anyway.
Because, like you said, it's a stimulant. You get energy from it.
And the way they've built technology is so intelligent, because they literally work on how to get you to concentrate for longer. Like, your attention is an expensive currency, you know, and that they want you to just be on there, consume and consume and consume, so that you're not working, you're not going to sleep early, you're not waking up and doing all these things that help benefit you so you feel happier. You know, they you to feel happy. They don't want you to be fulfilled. Why do you need that new car? Why do you need to go on social media and compare yourself? Why do you need to buy loads of clothes?
I felt like the entire day was gone after 8 o'clock. You just feel so, because all the stuff that you said you did in that TikTok, you felt so accomplished, and that, again, that leads to like an increase in confidence, right? Because you're working on yourself during those times, and you feel like you've done something like for yourself.
I heard this quote, and it said that there was a study done on how people feel fulfilled. Like, what is it that makes you happy? And the thing behind fulfillment is growth. And with what I do, I have growth every single day. Like, if I was doing what I was doing maybe 2 months ago, waking up around 11, I would probably not even do half of the things that I do now, that I've already accomplished within the first 2 hours of waking up. You know, like, it means I have the whole day free. Also, I get to see the sun. I get to see daylight. When you wake up at 11, by 4 o'clock, especially during winter time, it's dark. You've had like 6 hours, like 4 5 hours of sunlight, and then it's dark and your body's like, okay, time for rest.
Yeah. And you actually need sunlight to get good quality sleep as well. You need brightness, and that's why they say you should get direct sunlight in order to improve the quality of your sleep. I think it's from the vitamin D or something.
Especially as us brown people, like, even more so, you know, because we're naturally used to that. So if we don't get that, then we do feel more tired. We have low energy. And it's interesting, because I always thought that if I wake up earlier, I'd be more tired, but I'm actually not.
I was going to ask you about
the thing is, I think the way to salvage that is take a nap, put a timer on for 20 minutes, get into bed, have a nap, and then wake up and then continue your day. Because it's better if you wake up earlier and you get things done and you have that moment of solitude, and and like, and then you get tired during the day and then you have a little nap, compared to you waking up later, because your energy levels will be low. You won't have that solitude. You'll have your notifications going off. You'll have your family members all around you, or like your friends, or whoever.
Yeah.
Waking up early just gives you that moment of like quietness and just peace and alone time.
Yeah.
I love that. Honestly, I love it so much. I love being alone. I hate, like, now everybody has started waking up early, and I'm like, why? This is my time. Like, go back to bed. Why are you ruining it for me?
The main thing that I want to focus on now is just peace. I value my peace so much, and that has come from the meditation part as well. I am so composed with every emotion now. Well, with a lot of emotion, like where I could kick off, I don't. I'm just silent. I'm not even passive aggressive, none of that. Just, it is what it is. Like composure. Again, that leads to a lack of stress in the body. So that can help your physical health as well as your mental health. So that's a big thing.
You know what it is? Think about it this way, right? Think about it, you being a ship. I was at the beach one time, and I remember just thinking, having this thought, okay, imagine you're a ship. You can navigate yourself in the sea, in the ocean, if there are calm waters, right? And if there are like it's really windy and wavy and it's raining and storming, how can you know how to get to your destination? You just can't. It's so much more difficult. And that's like, be still, be like water. That's what your mind should be like, just very still like water, because then we can see everything from a logical, like, just we have a lot of clarity. And then if we have a lot of clarity, then we can make the best decisions. But if we don't have that, we have a turbulent mind, that we are just like, oh my God, okay, I was on that high. Like, the thing is, it's important to be emotionally sober. And I think peace gives you that. You won't just react to every little thing that happens in life.
No, that is so powerful. Oh my God. That was such a beautiful way to end this. Final words of wisdom.
Final words of wisdom.
For somebody who wants to work on their self-development, whether that's how to start, how to continue to channel it.
I would just say to people who don't feel like life can get any better, like, trust me, life can get better. Like, life can get so much better. I wake up every day and I feel happy. I have the best days of my life. And all I'm going to say is, if you want a great life, fill it with great days, because that's what a great life is, right? It's full of great days, and every day is a gift. So just make the most of every day and focus on growth, because that's what we're here to do, just grow.
Yeah, and if you have a bad day, just pick yourself back up the next day, as well as the fact that it helps you appreciate the good days as well. There
is no objective bad or good. There is only a subjective bad or good. So something that you may see as bad, for example, I don't know, you tripped and you can go to this event that you wanted to go to. Like, you may think that was bad, but from a different perspective, it could have been good because you avoided something that happened there. Everything is happening the way that it's supposed to happen. And if you don't get something that you want, it just means that something better is
coming. Yes, exactly. Like, I think I've just experienced loads of times like that, where I've had rejection, but now I'm like, it's fine, because something better is coming, and something better has always happened afterwards. It's just like the universe leading to your destination, for sure. You just have to trust. The universe is so giving. It's so giving. You just need to trust in it. And if you want something bad enough, you're going to get it. You just have to want it bad enough.
Just be open to receiving it.
Yeah. 100%. Oh, thank you so much for coming onto my podcast. I have learned so much, and I feel like I feel really motivated right now. Really motivated. So thank you for that. And honestly, I wish you the absolute best. Obviously, we'll be in touch. I really want to meet up with you as well one day. We'll do that in real life. We'll meet up, because you're so on my wavelength. I think you have such a beautiful energy and aura. I want everyone to follow you, because you're just incredible. And yeah, I just wish you all the best with everything. And I just wish you all the happiness as well, because you're going to get everything you want. And I'm backing you all the way.
Thank you so much. Thank you for making it such a safe and conducive space for me to express myself. I've honestly really enjoyed it. So thank you. You've been so much.
Thank you. To everyone listening, I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, Priya.
Thank you.